Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Just My Opinion podcast. We are on a roll. So today we are going to start up with a topic which I feel like is a little bit controversial, and I'm really scared about the ambassador's opinion because I feel like I'm just afraid of what he's about to say, because like what he's about to say, even if I don't say it, I'm going to be kind of associated to what he has to say. So fingers crossed. Yeah. Feminism in the African society, is it well received? How can we incorporate feminism in our society in a healthy way?
So I have the impression that I'm being warned so that I don't say exactly what I feel, but as usual, it's just my opinion here. I'm just saying my opinion. It's not any gospel truth or anything about to their opinions. I feel like that's one of the issues we need in the issues of feminism, or in the fight for equality between men and women. We need to listen to everybody's opinion, because until you know what people think, can you suggest, or can you even know how to address the problem? So I'm hoping that I'm part of the solution, but I never know I might be part of the problem. It just depends on which angle you are standing to. From my own side, I like to say, as a joke, I usually tell people like I'm a feminist out of survival instinct. Because being raised by the mother who raised me, you only have to be a feminist. I mean, even just the wrong joke not told well could land you in trouble.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's against feminists. So most of the time I'm saying things which I'm trying to be politically correct, although I know she's not like here right now, but I just have that reflex of trying to sound politically correct, but maybe I have very hardliner points against of feminists, but we're trying to sugarcoat it from time to time. Yeah. So as I said, I'm a feminist out of survival instinct, and I like to consider myself a practical feminist. When I'll go down into detail, I explain what I feel like is a practical feminist. Maybe a large chunk of feminists will not agree with my feminist views. So diving into the topic of feminism in the African perspective, I feel like if you look at the literature, there are various, should I call them, schools of thought, and I shoot myself with one of them, and then I can further develop my ideas with regard to feminism. So we have things like modernism. If you could Google those things to get more details. Modernism, femalism, snow sense feminism, womanism, nego-feminism. These are various forms of African feminism. I associate myself more with the modernism. If you look at what modernism is all about, it's more of, first, the fact that a woman is a mother, so she gave birth and produced everything in the family, and she's in control of the family. And then it takes into the larger sense of Mother Africa, Mother Nature, putting birth, all of these things, and the woman taking care of all of these things. So the woman is the more caring person. I have always said that I feel like if we were led by women in this world would be a better place. For some reason, the women have failed us, and they're not able to stand up to the place, or to stand up to the powers, or to stand up to own up to these positions of responsibility. That might be a controversial line. That's just my thought. It's just my opinion. I feel like the women have failed us by abandoning us in the hand of these very materialistic men. Maybe the men who take shots at me, the women who take shots at me. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so just from what you said, I have this question which is burning inside. I have to ask right now. So you say the women have failed us. Don't you think the women have been put in the position in which they have been put in? Because when you say the women have failed us, like they were given those opportunities, they were given the opportunity to lead, and they said, nope, we don't want to lead, or they led poorly, and so the men took over.
In the history of humanity, nothing has ever been given. So I don't know what the women expect to be given. I feel like they should just know what powers they have and what they can take. That's the best way to know about it. I always tell people, like, I have a number of issues when I say women have kind of disappointed us, or they have let us down as humanity, not as men, because as men maybe we are the problem. So as humanity, because if they are, from modernism perspective of they taking care of everything in the society, first I feel like mothers raise sons, and if mothers raise sons right, then there will be no men who are not going to be feminists. As I use the joke of saying I'm a feminist out of survival instinct. There's only as much as I can say against women, or that there's only as much as hardliner opinions I can have being raised by the kind of woman who raised me. The next thing I say is I advocate empowering the victims because I feel like that's an easier way to solve the problem. I always say with social problems, we should have holistic solutions to social problems. So the holistic solution is sensitizing the men, educating the men, and then empowering the women. That's what I feel like. Empowering can range from education for them to make a more social and policy-driven decisions. Empowering can also mean teaching them karate and kung fu to like really, really, you know what I mean. So empowering could range here, but I just feel like the women should be empowered and then the men should be sensitized. Why this is even harmful to our society as a whole. Because for me, that picture is sold from that perspective. Because at times the men feel like this is competition, they are come to take our. If they understand that humanity is going to be a better place and it's a win-win for everybody, the women as
I'm thinking of the point of view of somebody who has grown up in an African society and somebody who has all these feminist ideals. You know, I was just listening to a TED talk and this lady was talking about the fact that she's in love, she's a Ugandan and she's in love with her culture, but her culture has certain rules which she is not in love with. And as a woman, as a feminist, she's not in love with those rules. So she gave this example of her sisters, her and her sisters, her parents gave birth to all girls. So since they gave birth to all girls, that lineage stops. Growing up, she has always felt like she failed her parents because she felt like if she, the last child, would have been a boy, then it wouldn't have been a stop to their lineage. So she always felt like being born a girl was always like a failure. So she said she's in love with this culture, but being a feminist and having all these conflicting ideas and falling in love with the culture, which makes you kind of hate yourself a little bit and be apologetic for being a girl, it's very difficult to live with those two things. So like I am in love with the African culture and I consider myself a Pan-African in a way, and I try my best to know more about the African culture in order to promote the African culture in a more positive light. But then when you get to know more about this African culture, you get to the women were, I'll say in a way, given a certain role which was not chosen by the women. They were forcefully given a role which over time yeah, I do believe the women were forcefully given a role of you have to be in the kitchen, you have to, as a woman, this is what you're supposed to do. And sometimes when you tell people about this, it's like, okay, those were in those days, things are changing now, but still you listen to people these days. I remember, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I remember in the university, entrepreneurship, I remember very well. I think it was the second year in the university. So this is a class of majority girls. We are sitting down and the teacher says, the girls in this class, you should not aspire, you should not study and go too far, or else you will not get married. That's what the teacher is saying to a group of girls who have come to get higher education. That's what many men say. So it's like this society which keeps on indoctrinating women with ideals of don't aspire for too much, because if you aspire for too much, you're going to scare people away.
Is a man, that question aspire. My question is, what do the women around you say? What do the female teachers say? That's my biggest problem. I feel like that's why I say I'm an advocate for empowering the victim more than sensitizing the oppressor. Because maybe the oppressor is enjoying his privilege of being the oppressor, so he's really not that motivated to want to change things. If you empower the victim and the oppressor really has no choice, he will have to change. That's one. If the women see something. Two, you raise a number of issues that I feel like the issue of gender roles. So if you read Chimamanda's book, Dear Ijeole, where she raised the 15 points, it's one of the books I like to reference, although I go against some of her ideas because of the way they are served, but in the purest form of the idea, I agree with most of them. So when she talks about, because the way I might interpret my own issue of gender role, I don't want to associate Chimamanda to it because maybe that's not she stands. I'll start from there and my own thoughts, my own opinion. With regards to gender role, I feel like the African women are somehow confused.
Okay.
So we have all these double standards that when they suit the African women, they adhere to it, they enjoy it, they sympathize with it, they preach it. But when it comes to African traditions which don't favor them, then they claim all feminism. So we should just have it in mind that if we really honestly want to solve the problem, then we should start from, as I always say, go back to the beginning of it. what is the thinking that pushed this, some will call it toxic masculinity, some will call it patriarchal, whatever, all of those big words. But whatever pushed those group of men who were in power at the time in the African communities to come up with this is the same. So I say the same mindset which a man used to say that it's a very slippery slope. A man used to say men should go hunting, be the breadwinners. Men should open doors and pull chairs for women. Men should pay bride price for women. Men should be the one going out to work hard to bring the bread. It's the same mindset that he used to say that a man is the king of the house, a man is the head of the house, a woman should not speak when a man speaks, women should not eat this, that, women should bow down to men, whatever, yeah, the oppressive things you can list, things around African cultures, yeah. So don't fight just the negative things which don't suit you and then enjoy the privileges of being a woman in that society. Fight everything together, knowing that the same mindset that created these rules which favor you are the same ones that created the rules that disfavor you.